stutter, there's no in between. If I enter the ring, then I'm making a scene. Then I'm making them scream.
If y'all got a few problems, I feel bad for your son. I got 99 problems, but being a bitch ain't one. Rock Nation Empire, blueprint in the vault. Every brick I flip turned to gold, that's all I know.
Whoever putting money on my head, they surviving. You ain't getting rich off me, but homie, you could die trying. I'm the undefeated king of queens, getting straight doves. My bulletproof vest about to be covered in your blood. If you talk smack, get clapped, diced up and slaughtered. Y'all, you looking kinda pale, need some vitamin water, dog. Heed the prophecy, you don't know what's on the line. Ignoring signs of summon the destruction of space and time.
Give a damn about your prophecy, you ain't seen what I saw. The Illmatic Oracle, been him since 94. Most critically acclaimed, my style second to none. You talking about kings in the presence of God's son. I hear you prophesize, but do you see the big picture? I pen scrolls and shadows where the street lights flicker. Flow like hieroglyphic scripture, make the weak hearts quiver. Eyes flow so cold it'll make Lucifer shiver.
Here we go, shaking stadiums, the shady spit this flow. Do they know? If you piss me off, I'll go ballistic, bro. These kings looking like bozos. I'm wondering if I should snatch that gold. Hell no, that's just a joke. What's a king to a rap guy, yo? Shady to see to the 8 miles and my jutsu ain't no need for combs. Get too close, I lose my shit and carve my name onto your bones. Leo's my comatose, believe I'm not here to save souls. I'm going in until I know the prophecy wanna fall as fuck though.
I rip the steel barrel, kissing your dome piece. Down in the pipe, like a heavyweight, I'm obese, cause I eat beats. My temper's hard to manage. I'm a Brooklyn savage, leaving all your bones damaged. Ass stage killer, brick flipper, the Ciroc sipper. Your ass techniques, sounding like my butt cheeks. I got bars so beat, send you back to your roots. Stash the weak MC's boots and leave his drawers with streaks.
It's not the way the dragon flow. Big boss, so called my AC broke. I've been no real bigger since a baby though. My boss bigger bungalows. Jump my wall to wall, but I still run this up. Run from me. I'm the big dog, y'all just hush puppies, big money. Sniffing bread out like a dog hunting. Rabbit punches hit like fleas, but I hate Bugs Bunny. Tunchi like a butcher. A knife with a bazooka. 3 grenades on my waist and I ooze you with the shusher.
Hello. Welcome once again to another episode of the #1 Sentai Gozyu-dan. I am, of course, your host, the mercenary with the kicks, call sign Henshin, coming to you live from the year 2026. Hope everyone's having a lovely Sunday. Hope everyone is ready because the end is in sight. This trash bit of a show is only a couple of episodes away from ending. The end is in sight, folks. I am so happy that this is finally going to end. But I'm also so happy that Gavan is coming back, baby. Gavan Infinity is literally on the horizon. And I am excited. I am excited. Like, we still don't even know if it's going to stream in the US. We don't know. Like, they haven't really, like, put that out there, but I really hope it does, because like Gavan needs to be experienced by the peoples, because you're starting a new IP and people are thirsty here in the States for Toku. People love Tokusatsu. They're tired of literally the half-assed excuses for Sentai that Power Rangers has become in recent years. But they want something new. They want something different. Give us Gavan, man. We want Gavan. Give it to us, baby. We need that shit. I love that. I love that. That's like a vocal stim for me, that part. Anyway, we're ready for Gavan Infinity. We're ready for Project Red. We are so ready, but before we can get there, we have to send off Super Sentai. Now, does that mean that we are on the verge of a great send-off? I have no idea. So far, it looks like they kind of fell back into old habits last episode. And, like, I guess old habits die hard. But the fact of the matter is that they need to end this at least on a... At this point, you can't end it really on a good note, but you need to end it on a note that doesn't drag down other Sentai by comparison. You know what I mean? Like, you can't end the series with what is essentially a fuck you to the fans. You can't do this. You have to end it at least on a somewhat satisfying note. Because if you leave it with the most unfulfilling ending, Super Sentai is just going to be looked at as a joke. Like, the legacy of something that has gone for over 50 years, half a century, and you end it on a wet fart, like, you can't do that. Because at that point, no one's going to give Super Sentai the time of day anymore. It's going to be like, you know how like people who love Game of Thrones hated the final season and act like it never existed? Yeah, that's going to be us with Super Sentai. Like, everyone's going to be like, well, what about Gozyu? They never happened. But like that, it never happened. La 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 la, I'm not hearing you. Gozyu didn't happen. La la la, there's no such thing as a Gozyu. La la, so on and so forth. So like, right now, they have to hope. They have to hope that the ending at least feels satisfying. There has to be something redeeming in there. Because if there isn't, we're pretty much, it's the legacy of Super Sentai will forever be tainted. So they have probably like 2 or 3 more episodes to right wrongs here. It's not going to right all of the wrongs. This is still going to be a dumpster fire of a season no matter how you look at it. But man, hopefully at least it sends off Super Sentai on a good note. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's going to send it off on a good note. I'm not entirely certain. I'd like to believe that it's going to get off on a that it's going to, send things off on a good note. But I'm not optimistic. I'm not optimistic. I want to believe they're going to give us something good for the ending, but again, I'm not optimistic. But we're not going to find out just by talking, are we? We're not going to find out just by talking. We're going to find out by watching. So let's go ahead and get into today's episode. It is episode 45. I think it might go the full 48, I think. And this is like another episode that feels filler heavy. Because I'm already looking at the thumbnail for this and I'm not sold. Yeah, this feels like it's just going to be cheese. Yeah, like this is going to be cheese, I think. So let's go ahead and move over to the cinema. And let's get ready to watch this. Watch this. Okay, just need to change the window. There we go. All right. Here we are, folks. We are just maybe like 2 or 3 episodes away from the end. And it still feels like they're going to throw some cheese at us. So, here we are. It's almost doesn't feel like it's over, but it actually it's close to being over. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's pause the music. This is episode 45 of Super Sentai of Gozyu-dan, and here we go. The original Super Sentai that were the origin for our powers existed in another world. Yep, the new Cataclysm. Oh! Knocked the wind out of him. Smack him like a bitch. Oh, he tried to back fist him. Have a taste of famine. There, now Riggered's starting to feel the seriousness. So, yeah, like right now it feels like it feels like they're getting serious, but like just because of last week's preview, we know this has got to be a bunch of cheese. So again, not being optimistic because I feel like we're not really, we're kind of underscoring your main thing, which is the Cataclysm, and then what's going on there with Fire Candle. You know, like he's just like, there's too much things going on that I don't think they're going to resolve them all in the next 3 episodes. I feel like it feels like there's just like nothing there, you know, like there's too much there to the point where they can't do anything. So I get the feeling that this show is going to end on a lot of plot holes. Like there's going to be like things that are never answered and we'll never get an answer. So we're just kind of like just feeling it out, I guess. So ultimately it's just kind of like not good. You know, like this is why I'm worried that they're going to pull a decade and we're getting a Gozyu movie that will end the series, which honestly, I feel like that would be the way to go because then you send off Sentai with a movie, but like I'm also not convinced that's what's going to happen because there's been no reports of it. You know, so I don't know. I genuinely don't know where the line sits. Like, I'm not entirely sure. Like, there's not really a lot of reports. Everyone's just sitting around bummed the fuck out. Oh, wow, I've never noticed that earring. It's got the Gozyu. Wow, that's kind of trippy. Why is everyone else bummed out? Then, I'm confused.
Oh wow, callback.
Oh, that's why he uses the ring.
真のスーパー戦隊魂を見せてやってくれませんか。
Wait, then where did Origa Red get it?
確かめてみたくなってな。
確かめる。
お前らがナンバーワンだというならそれを見せてみろ。俺の指輪をかけて。妖怪ナンバーワンバトルだ。
Wait, where are you watching from?
なんで奴らのところに。
君がオリガレッドか。
テガソードさん。本物ですか。お会いできて光栄です。ユニバース対戦でのご活躍を聞いております。
Oh god, he's a fanboy.
宇宙を救った最後の巨神。感激です。
Wait, are you sure this isn't Toronto?
ありがとう。
だけど、だからこそ、なんでテガソードさんはあんな空っぽのやつをレッドに選んだんですか。
今にわかる。
You'll find out. Interesting.
一番妖怪っぽいと俺が認めたやつが優勝だ。
What the fuck is this shit, man?
1番市川澄の66首やります。
The long-necked woman. I feel like that would be funnier if it was like more realistic. I mean, it'd be scary if it was more realistic. No. My god, you look like you pulled out of Frozen. It's a cat. We're literally about to end, and you're filling this up with cheese.
5番爆神流イヤサカカッパ。
The fuck?
6番どのホイール。一旦もめ。ホイールくん、前にも言ったよね。こういうのは恥ずかしがる方が恥ずかしいって。しょうがねえだろ。こういうの苦手なんだよ。仕方ない。そこ動くな。
Well, so like they're taking this super seriously, man.
てめえら後で覚えてやがれ。
お前ら最高だな。やるときは全力、チームワークも見事だ。やっぱちゃんとレッドを中心とした戦隊じゃねえか。
そんなことねえよ。あの折り紙野郎が言ってたぜ。俺はレッドにもリーダーにもふさわしくねえって。
バーカ。何つまんないこと気にしてんだ。言いたくない。
I'm sorry, I have to let it go.
リーダー。
Oh, fuck you, Dane.
てか、そもそも封印されてた妖怪軍団を目覚めさせちまったのも俺だったしな。
マジかよ。元凶じゃねえか。
ああ、細かく言うとサイゾが。まあいいや。リーダーは姫で、バカな俺たちは迷惑ばっかかけて苦しい戦いもたくさんあった。だが、それでも頑張れたのは。
Oni sisters and Nukochi. Yeah. And since I'm not going to be playing the roles anymore, it doesn't matter that like, you know, that she took up the now she's playing 2 Sentais because she's just out. She's gone. Like the Sentai's over, so it doesn't matter. That's more interesting. Interesting.
俺がここまで頑張れた理由。薬剤、ビダレの匂いだ。
Again, I love how they brought back the grunts from previous seasons. I love that. I love that. Ooh, shit. Wait, I feel like there was something more to this. See, like, here's a weird thing though. When they did the original, when the other Clades was back, when the other Clades came back, they used weird mishmashes that weren't previous grunts. They just used this weird thing. So now they're doing this, which is crazy. How are you going to do the Project Red series? I don't know yet. We have to wait to see the announcements. I'll touch on that at the end. I like the noises, and it's kind of sucks we're never gonna get the origami season, but this would have been awesome. That would have been awesome, I think. Look, this guy is moving like he's a fresh red. Like this is a new season. He's moving like that. Nope. See, like, the concept of the folded slash, I like that. Like, this could have been a good season, and we're never gonna get it. That's what bugs me about this. We're never getting Origa Red and Origa Blue, or whatever other colors. I think they said what color scheme it would have been, but I don't remember. Ultraman Zero? I don't know. Oh, the actor, I think. I feel like that famine effect is gonna have him like he tries to drink or eat anything and it just disappears. Okay, don't tell me those effects are in the original Kaku Ranger. And I love how he's using Kuon. Ultraman Zero is the voice of Origa Red. That's cool. Oh wow, he made it make sense. Wait, are we killing off Oeru? Starburger! I love that's a Star Ninja reference. I'm sorry, are you eating biscuits with no drink? Where you drink at? Get this man some water! What is he doing? Oh, there's, okay, I see a drink there. Pizza! Love me some pizza. This is like, okay, I'm gonna be I have to mute this because I think it's copyrighted, but like, bro, like, this is like literally they're encompassing in such short time what it means to be a Sentai, because I feel and I will admit it feels a little rushed, but man, how do you just they managed to encompass that in literally one episode. Oh damn. Oh, is the music done?
何つったってんだ。立派なレッドになるんだろ
はい、ホエルさん。
う。ならまず、あいつをぶっ倒すぞ。
Oh god, are we killing the guy already? Don't do this, come on. Wait a... And I gotta mute it again. God dang, with the inserts. Too many inserts this episode. Crimson Justice and Azure Hope. Nice. Nice. So, like, right now, like, this feels like, okay, we're doing a bit of a rush job here. So we're not ending with a villain, it's just going to be them making the wishes? Like, is that what's going on here? Because that'd be an interesting way to end everything on. You know, like, that'd be interesting. But, because, again, you're not ending on a big villain, but you're ending on a big... You're ending on a big, like, on a big world-changing event. And Kaku Ranger was just able to summon... Oh, God, that's interesting. How do you do that? Zioja, Ryu Soldier. God, I need to go... I feel like I want to go back and watch Ryu Soldier. Because I feel like that was one of the better seasons in my eyes. And I just like... Because the impact of the ending left such an impression on me. I feel like maybe I'm going to go back to the... This man... This Kaku... Sasuke is just using everything. How? This has never been established in the ring canons. What the fuck? Or at least with the regular ring... Like, this has never been established. Since when? Since when can he do that? The hell? I have to narrate this because I have it muted for, I have it muted for copyright reasons. There we go! Oh wait! If they're starting to understand it, does that mean they're finally gonna get a roll call? How many inserts are we putting in here? That's 3. That's 3 inserts in a row. God damn it! I can't even play the audio of this episode because it's fucking... I can't because there's too many inserts. Like, if you wanted to make this feel like the last episode, you're doing a good job. Because this doesn't feel like this is... This feels like you're throwing everything at it like this is where it's supposed to end. Big ball of dynamite. Nah, you're good, man. You're good. You're good. Again, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Oh, God! Football! Rider kick! It always comes back to the rider kick, doesn't it? It always comes back. Oh, God, that is an amazing visual. They have never done a roll call. I've realized. Oh, okay, no, he didn't kill him. Oh! Oh my God, Muteki Shogun!
皆さんここは僕に任せてください。テガソードさん、ホエルさんもちゃんとスーパー戦隊のレッドです。
そうだろう。私もそう信じている。行くぞ。
はい。
Wait, are we getting? Oh no, well he's not using the fancy sword. Muteki Shogun, that looks great. I also like that it's wearing like, I don't remember if that's Shogun's original helmet because it's got like a crane on it. So I don't know if that was like added there for the, I don't know if that was added there for the origami aesthetic. I'm not certain. Oh, this is gonna kick ass. And it becomes an okay, yeah, that's full circle right there. Namiso. So okay, they killed off what is supposed to be the season-ending villain, I think.
度重なる無礼、申し訳ありませんでした。レッドにふさわしくないのは僕の方でした。また一から出直してきます。願い、ちゃんと見つけてくださいね。
So they have all 50 rings now. What happens?
夢とか願いとかそういうのがあるから人は生きていけるんですよ。ああ。願いはこれからだが。
そういや妖怪ナンバーワンバトルの優勝者を伝え忘れてたな。
そういえば。
俺が今戦う理由が分かった気がする。
He understands what he's fighting for.
ナンバーワンはお前だ、カッパのイエロー。正解そっくり。
いやさかテガソード様、最後の指輪が私のもとに。私こそ妖怪ナンバーワン。
That's not something you should be chanting. That's not something you should be screaming from the rooftops, Ryugi. That's not. No, I don't think this is the finale because there's one last thing that we need to resolve, and that's with the fire candle.
じゃあな後輩たち、気が向いたらこっちにも遊びに来い。300人の先輩を紹介してやる。
遠慮するわ。人酔いしそうだ。
それな。
では皆さん、お元気で。
またな。
And that's the ending of that episode. I'm actually wondering, like, why would you turn that down? But he's figuring it out, man. Oh, he's still alive! What the fuck? Oh. Uh-oh. Oh god, Fire Candle's gonna fuse with him! Oh, that is fuck shit! Oh god! He's going to fuse with the Cataclysm! Sumina versus... Oh! Okay, now it's... Okay, they're now fighting against each other. So yeah, there is... I'm assuming, yeah, they're going to have to battle this all out in 3 episodes. And then on top of that, they have to deal with Fire Candle with Cataclysm power. So that's where this is going. And they have to do all that in 3 episodes? I don't think that's happening, man. I feel like there's going to be too much left to the wind. Right? Like, there is no... What do you call it? There really is no way to tell that story in 3 episodes. I genuinely believe that. Because this is episode 45, so if we're assuming they're going the whole 48, if they're going to 48 episodes, then it would definitely have to be next week, the week after that. Basically, they have to end on the 31st, which is why it was stated that Project Red is starting in. Yeah, Fire Candle is going to be the final boss, more than likely. Because it looks like right now but when I saw in the preview, he's trying to talk everyone into coming back, and they're not going to have it. So he's pretty much fighting on his own. So I was in the right by saying that the Brightons never felt like true villains. But Fire Candle was something different, right? So I was right, but what I didn't estimate for was that Fire Candle was going to be the last man standing. But it made the most sense because his rivalry with Hoeru was literally one of the more interesting bits of this entire series. Let me actually jump back. Like one of the very few things that Gozyu had going for it was the rivalry between Fire Candle and Hoeru. So it makes sense that if you're gonna want to keep the Brightons and like try to make them a big force, then like you would need someone to stay behind, and Fire Candle makes the most sense. New Year Sentai is the 51st. No, he's the 50th. That Origa Red would have been the 50th Sentai because Gozyu's the 49th. And I think that is also with counting Lupat and Lupat Ranger and Pat Ranger as separate. I think it still comes to 49. So yeah, that is where we are with that. So ultimately, characters look like ass for so much fun. You know what I thought when I saw Fire Candle the first time? I thought it was the guy who played the monk in Kamen Rider Ghost. I don't know why I thought that's who he was, but like at the start I thought it was him, and then I realized no, it was somebody else because like I guess like the way he was acting made me think of him. I forget the monk's name, but like he was basically Ghost's sidekick. I genuinely do not remember his name, but I thought it was like he was playing Fire Candle, but it ended up being someone else. But regardless, what it comes down to is that Fire Candle, out of all of the Brightons, made the most sense because again, he's got beef with Hoeru because obviously Hoeru has like overpowered him so many times. So obviously all those defeats, and when you look back at the whole Shinkenger issue, right? That when he like the ring was giving off too much power and it turned him into a monster. Like it made the most sense because that meant like there was something in him, like some sort of hatred in his soul, right? There was something dark in there. So it made the most sense that the guy who actually had like a compelling rivalry, it made sense that he would be the guy to be the end, right? And it also kind of like Nox has his own YouTube channel. Cool. Anyway, but like it made the most sense for Fire Candle to be the guy, like so because ultimately like it would be weird, and it makes also sense because it would be weird if like once everyone turned to the side, he just let it all go. Like there was really only two ways you could have made that work, was if he ends up becoming the villain or if he just ends up becoming a nomad, right? Where he just doesn't jive with the real world, but he doesn't jive in the No.1 world either, so he's just kind of there and he just shows up. That would have been the only way that would have worked. Otherwise, he had to be the main bad guy. So it made the most sense. It made the most sense to make Fire Candle the end boss. But how do you make him like a truly? How do you make him like a truly? How do you make him like a truly like? Because here's the thing, he's been squashed by Hoeru on multiple occasions. So what do you do to make him a bigger deal? What just happened right there? Cataclysm power. Because that was the one thing Sentais could never contend against. And even though they beat one in the past, it was with great struggle. That's why that's why they didn't fully kill him off there until the end. The person that's the most unhinged, because they're unhinged. Like you answered your own question. They're unhinged. They were slowly building up Fire Candle that like something is eating at him. And it wasn't just the rivalry with Hoeru. Because ultimately it became a journey of power. And when everyone jumped ship, he felt like it was like a burning point. It's all burning over. We thought Bouquet could have easily also filled that role, but they redeemed her. So who's left? Fire Candle. So ultimately, Fire Candle being the end boss is the best move. So ultimately, what I think is going to happen is while the other Sentai are fighting each other, he's slowly getting more powerful in the background. He is going to bring forth the resurrection of the Clades. Fire Candle is going to bring forth the resurrection of the Clades and the second cataclysm. Now, there's two ways this ends, right? Either the cataclysm erases all of reality, and they use with their last breath that wish to create a new reality. I feel like that would be the way to go, because it then sets up a new reality where Sentai doesn't exist, but Gavan does. The space sheriff still exists. That would be the perfect way to do it. Because I feel like if you just wish everything to be back the way it was, then, I mean, they can do that, and then in a sense, Sentai exists in its own bubble. But it would be a better way to set up, because now there's no like handoff, right? Like friggin' Gozyu Red is not going to shake Gavan Infinity's hand. He's not going to do that. They're not going to have the passing of the torch. The only way you can really do a passing of the torch is if you erase the world and create a new world where Sentai never happened. Okay, I'll answer that in a second. But so here's the thing: either you get a whole world restart, you do a whole world restart where Sentai does not exist, and in turn the space sheriffs do. Obviously, they wouldn't wish for that part, but it would just happen. It would be like an overarching like full universe reset, which is what Gavan Infinity is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a full-on reset of metal. It's a reset of that entire time slot, that entire narrative. As far as we know, this is the end of Super Sentai with Gozyuger. It ends with Gozyuger, so it would be fitting if the world ends and the world reset is what triggers the space sheriffs. No, I don't think you fuse Super Sentai and Metal Heroes. I just feel, because again, remember, Gozyuger does not exist. Like, if you listen to Ninja Red, if you listen to Sasuke, his world, where the Sentais exist, is not the Gozyuger realm. The Gozyuger realm is its own thing. It exists outside the bubble. For all we know, Origa Red is actually what's going on in that world, and we're just seeing this weird alternate universe where Sentai is literally treated as an individual thing. Because it's all about the Reds. So when you look at every member of Gozyuger, they're just not there. They're not a Sentai. They're like individual heroes that just happen to work together a lot. Like, even though they're setting up this is what Super Sentai is, at the end of the day, they're not really a Super Sentai, because at the end of the day, they're still fighting each other because only one person can use the rings. Only one person. So, at its core, while he's saying, they act like a Super Sentai, they're still not a Super Sentai. It just doesn't... calling it that is weird. They embody what a Super Sentai is, but they're not a Super Sentai. That's why Gozyuger's kind of end of the line. It's the end of the team dynamic. Because right now, we're throwing that out in the last 3 episodes. We're literally throwing this all out for the last 3 episodes for the battles. Kana Kozuchi shares the same birthday date as my mom. Coincidence? I don't know, man. I don't look that deep into it. You're deeper down the rabbit hole than I am. I just enjoy this shit. But yeah, overall though, I'm trying to it takes me a moment to process my thoughts, so I apologize if there are these lapses here, because I'm trying to think. Because it's like a maelstrom in my brain, and I struggle to think of things, so it just takes me a moment. Ultimately what happens is that you can really only do that, right? I mean, I guess because though I feel like they're also setting up for Hoeru's wish to be to merge that world with the real Super Sentai world, to be like acknowledged, I guess. That because if you look at it, when the way he reacts after Ninja Red leaves, he says, "I don't have a wish yet, but at least I know what I'm fighting for." And then he lays that on him about he'd rather not visit because maybe he'd like to merge the world. You don't know. So we could be on the verge of either the realms merging or the end of the Gozyu world as we know it and being reset into a Metal Heroes universe. Which honestly, I would love it if that's like the narrative like explanation, right? Because if you tie it in like that, it makes sense why they're here now. As a matter of fact, you know what it is? Fire Candle could easily sneak in, get all 50 rings, and wish for a world without Sentai. For the world to be remade as a world without Sentai. And when that happens, Metal Heroes. So it could be either one. So there's like 3 possible options. So either Hoeru wishes that, Fire Candle wishes that, or they don't wish for either, and they just, it's just like, they stay self-contained, and like, matter of fact, it could be like, how do you wish for anything? But ultimately, what I think is either you gotta like segue into Project Red. You gotta segue. You can't give the traditional handoff. You gotta do a different kind of segue, and the way you do that, reset the world. That's what I think should happen. Now, if that's what's going to happen, I don't know. Like, remains to be seen. But there's definitely something there. There's definitely something to be said. So, does that mean that, like, they might take my advice? Probably not. Because, again, as far as we've known, every good creative decision with this show was thrown out the window months ago. So, my whole deal is that either they're going to do the predictable ending, or they're going to actually lean into the fact that this is the end of Sentai by narratively declaring that. What would I wish for from the #1 bundle? Like Kamen Rider Zio's last episode? Like that, yeah. Although, it wouldn't show the Gozyugers back there at all. Like, they would just be regular civilians again. Because now you're in the Metal Heroes universe. Like that. What would you wish for from the #1 battle for your wish engine? I don't know. Well, obviously, actually, you know what? No, I obviously know what the answer is to this. That the nukes never fell in 2100. In the year 2100, remember I mentioned that, like, my whole deal is I'm from a post-nuke apocalypse. So, the bombs fell in the year 2100. If I had that wish, I would just wish for that to have never happened. Does that mean that I would cease to exist? Maybe. But, a better future, because we're still picking up the pieces. Even like 200, like maybe over 100 and 100, 200, hold on. 1,000? No. Like, literally, like, 126 years later, we're still picking up the pieces. Like, we're still rebuilding here in the future. Like, we have not truly rebuilt or recovered from that day. Like, we've literally only, like, if you want, like, a real timeline of what's going on here, we didn't get people coming back to the surface until maybe, like, 50 years ago. What's the Super Sentai #1 Gozyu versus movie? There's not going to be a versus movie. If I feel like if they're going to do it, they're going to be doing it like a closing chapter, and that only means if they it'll only mean anything if they like pull a decade and make the finale a movie. Which there's no report of that happening, so I don't think so. But anyway, like, we came out from bunkers literally like 50 years ago. right? Because that was when the land was finally hospitable. Like the nuclear radiation cleared out in a lot of areas. So now we're like rebuilding. But like it's been a struggle. And we're still fighting, and it all could have been prevented if we didn't try to fire nukes at the Frontari like 120 years ago. We tried to fire nukes to eradicate an alien menace, and they just laughed and threw them right back at us. So we have been fighting. I have been fighting the Frontari menace ever since. Well, not ever since. Obviously, I wasn't born 100 years ago, but like literally, like we came. It was like I've literally taken upon myself to fight the alien menace. That's why I wear this helmet in homage to Kamen Rider, but also because somebody has to fight in this time and age, and that's why I look the way I do. I literally am preparing for a fight. When that fight will happen, I don't know. But the times you don't see me here, the times you don't see me on the time feed, I'm more than likely either scavenging for parts or fighting Frontari Menace. That's literally what I do when I'm not on stream. Because what I do is I stream to give hope. I give that general hope of feeling, that general feeling of hope, just because we try to entertain. Because ultimately, what's the biggest thing you can fight for? And as cheesy as it sounds, you can only fight for smiles. You can only fight to keep the smiles on people's faces alive. Because they need hope. They need something to distract them from from everything else that's wrong with this world, from this desolate wasteland. And I became a little bit of an entertainer in this realm because of it. Because I didn't want to see people like sad anymore. I didn't want to see people, like cursing the world that they've been given. So I became a little bit of an entertainer, which I brought over to this. I'm a mercenary first and foremost, but I will fight to keep the smiles on people. Even if it's against like bad actors, like your raiders, your military corps that act of their own volition, like just overall, like even the monsters that roam this land, Frontari or not, I still fight them. Because seeing them destroyed is what will bring hope to the people. No one should have to live in fear of the day-to-day. And that's why I do what I do. I fight and I stream to the past. Because even now, in your timeline, in 2026, things are shit. I've looked around at the news at that time period. Things are not getting better. I can't tell you anything more because, y'all know in the future is extremely risky, but I've seen the timeline you live in. You guys are going through desperation even now. So I fight. I fight to be able to bring back some hope to y'all and to my peoples in this timeline. No, 2268. 2268. No, sorry. 2286. 2286, sorry. So I don't know, that'll be like 175. Yeah, so 100 is roughly about 175 years ago, give or take. You know what? It's 186 years. 186 years. 185 years was last year. Yeah. So that is why I do it. And also why I suffered through things like this. Because guess what? No one else is going to watch this show after what happened. But I'm already too far in. It's time to see this thing to the end. Oh, the day of Omazio is 2068? Oh, yeah, that is true. Funny, there's, well, I think I can tell you this because it never happened. I hate to break it to you, but, Omazio never happens in your timeline. I hate to break it to you. Like, again, by revealing that, it doesn't change anything because it's something that never happened. If it was something that did happen, me telling you that would have jeopardized the future. But since it never happened, I can tell you that because it's something that never happens. So, yeah. Hate to break it to y'all. It's kind of like how they gave us Kamen Rider Shinobi, but they didn't pull the trigger on doing his series and instead made him a V cinema because they're cowards. But I digress. So, on that note, you're from Kamen Rider Kikai's timeline? No, but I think it would be handy to have because, like, he's an excellent repairman. But he was like, ultimately, I don't think. No, I mean, I've never met a Kamen Rider Kikai, but it would be useful to have because that guy can repair some shit. He's like pretty handy with some tools. I mean, I guess you learn like your inner machinations since he was a cyborg as well. Which, by the way, I just realized that like the fact that like you just brought that up, really like. That's why he was a cyborg because Kikaider. It was kind of a throwback to Kikaider, which is hilarious. I never put two and two together on that. What is your favorite Kamen Rider Extra Final Form? Let me answer these questions really quick right here. Also, Dane, I don't think Nox is unhinged. He's too chill to be unhinged. Favorite Kamen Rider Extra Final Form. I'm very partial to Axel Booster. I'm very partial to it. I don't know why, because it's just like a weird yellow recolor, but like there's something about it. And I think the way it was presented that makes it look like super sick. You know? Something about that. Though, did Mach ever have a... Oh yeah, Mach Chaser. Mach Chaser was alright. I did like Blades. Kamen Rider Blades Lion Senki form. I loved that. That one was really creative. Like, and here's the thing. You know what always bothered me? That like in the show, Espada didn't get his super form. He got it in a V cinema, but like, bro, you should have put that in there. Find a way to put that in there. Should have done that. But in terms of like extra final forms, like, or am I? Yeah. So yeah, that answers that. But yeah, that being said, guys, that's gonna do it. Oh, I did want to acknowledge before we go. Someone did ask me how am I going to tackle Project Red. Now, here's the ongoing theory, right? Because again, they have several weeks to make this announcement. But if we get Project Red to simulcast like they are doing with Zets, then I would end the Kamen Rider Zetsudan and just turn it back into the superhero Zatsudan. Because that was like that show was us reviewing the entirety of the superhero time block. So if we're getting like if we're getting Project Red right before the episode of Kamen Rider Zets, then I can just do superhero time. I can do it back to the original format. I can do the superhero Zaibatsu, the superhero Zatsudan. I can do that. So that would be the plan. But if it's not simulcast, then we would just get the Project Red Sudan. Or the Gavatsudan Infinity or something. I don't know. I'll workshop some names. But I feel like right now the tentative plan is to just keep doing the show separate. What I could do is like I might not totally retire the Kamen Rider Zetsudan. Like it'll just be we'll call the entire segment the superhero Zetsudan, and then the subsections will be the Zetsudan and the Red Sudan. You know? Like, I think that's how we're going to approach it. But anyway, but we'll figure it out when we get closer to the days. But anyway, we got a little sidetracked here, but we are going to wrap up here. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to the #1 Sentai Gozyu-dan, your place to find out what's going on with Gozyu, because you don't want to watch, but I'll watch it for you. And I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I will see y'all next week for another astounding episode of the #1 Sentai Gozyu-dan. And we'll next week as well for the Kamen Rider Zetsudan, and as well Fallout London and Arma 3. Until then, guys, I will see you all next week, or this coming week, because it's Sunday after all. I will see you all later this week. I will see you next weekend, as it were. Until then, this is Callsign Henshin, your mercenary with the kicks, coming to you live for the year 2286, reminding you that the future is yours, and yours alone. Only you can seize it. Seize the days, seize the year, seize the month, the week. Seize the future, baby. Because no one else gonna do it for you. I love y'all. I'll see y'all next weekend. Until then, peace out.